then I'm going to step forth and I'm going to run as a candidate for the United States Senate, and I'm going to defend that because we have got to have that kind of representation. There are two words that I grew up with, in spite of the fact, I grew up in Baltimore City. I grew up on Park Heights Avenue. I grew up on Baltimore and Shipley Street. I grew up on Fayette Street and went to Pimlico Junior High School, graduated from Southwestern High School. Very early in life, this is my only story, and I think if you never forget your story, you'll never forget that you owe and that you have to serve. My family broke up when I was about 11 years old, and I went through 11 foster homes. But there were two words that were introduced to me when I was adopted by a preacher who served as a pastor of St. James United Methodist Church on Lexington and Monroe. Two words he gave me. Those two words were hope and promise. And what I'm seeing today, because it was really those two words that helped me to understand that I did not have to remain a dropout. I was kicked out of 3 school systems. There was not a school system within 30 miles of here that I was not kicked out of. There was schools, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County. They said, you're not able to be educated. That's what the system said back then. But I had a Methodist preacher say to me, I'm going to be your voice. You will not be voiceless. I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to speak into your life, and I'm going to let you know that no matter what they say about whether you can make it or not, I'm going to help you to make it. And even though I was the oldest person graduating from Southwestern Senior High School, they thought I was, Brother Gibson, they thought I was a teacher, right? I was a student. And I went across and graduated from Southwestern High School, and he said it's not going to stop here. And so some years later, after being deemed by our system as a failure and as one who could not and would not and should have remained in the system, on my way to what we called back then, Your Honor, Boys Village. It's now Cheltenham. On my way there, but this preacher stopped and said, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to be a voice in your ear. I'm going to be a voice speaking you into your destiny. And because of that, I was able to leave from Southwestern and graduate from Morgan State University and graduate with a master's from Wesley Theological Seminary, a part of American University, and graduate with a doctorate from Howard University. I'm telling you, when I say that I want to stand up and do this, there are those that I call the voiceless in our society, and those voiceless, the voiceless, they are not being heard in the places where they ought to be heard. There is no reason why I'm not hearing them scream from Capitol Hill, because almost 50% of our students from Prince George's County are not graduating. And depending upon the numbers that you look at, 70% of our kids in Baltimore City, my city, they're not graduating. And then those who do graduate, we lump into a great number, and we say, look, we are now number 1 in the United States of America. And yes, maybe you think you're number 1, but listen to me. When you're giving out, and it comes from the federal level on down, the okay for a child to go from kindergarten to the 12th grade and graduate and get a certificate of completion that I call a certificate to nowhere. It's a certificate in which they cannot get a job. They can't go into the military. They can't get a GED. And here they are with this certificate, and we're saying we're doing well. We're not doing well. We're not doing well when our children can't pass SAT scores, and we're spending all of our money trying to deal with mandatory tests that come from the federal level. We're not even certain that they are evaluating our children properly. They are the voiceless. Let me say it again. They are the voiceless. The voices are those that we see every day, not just in Maryland, but you see them in Baltimore City, because Maryland is last in job creation. I want to hear somebody from Capitol Hill talk about the fact that we are last in job creation, but not just talk about it, but then speak to the fact that in America, you can't send the jobs overseas and then wonder why we have no jobs here. America manufactures nothing. We make nothing. We fix nothing. I'm almost finished. Thank you for letting me come in. We fix nothing. We do nothing. But we stand up and pontificate with phony pieces of legislation to say, look, this is what we've done. Look, this is what we've done. For all of the pieces of legislation that have been passed since I've been a senator in my second term, all the pieces that we've come back and talked about, look at what we've done in Annapolis about foreclosures. None of it really worked. None of it worked. The banks have given tens of millions of dollars to banks to help us, and nobody is holding them accountable. You know why? It's on the federal level. And so, if that's where it is, that may be where I need you to go, to the federal level, to talk about the fact that unemployment, 9%, watch this, 7% across this country. Listen, 47% unemployment among our African American youth. And nobody in the seat of power is saying this is ridiculous. It's not right. And there are things that we can do to stop this. There are things that we can do to turn it around. We can look at the policy, look at our schools, look at alternative education, do something. But let's not just sit back with business as usual. I need your help because you can affect the policy. Politics, I call it the decision-making process, and that's what it is. It's a place where all decisions are made. So when we talk about the fact that minority businesses are not growing, of course they're not growing. Minority businesses are not growing because we've given all the tax breaks and the tax shelters and the grants and the subsidies to larger businesses on Wall Street who refuse to come back to Main Street in our neighborhood and reinvest, and we're paying for it as small and minority businesses. And so I'm here to say we need you, number one, to step up even more and not just get involved within the community, but we need you in the political process. We need you to say that this redistricting plan, for example, is absolutely wrong. It does not serve our people. We need you to talk about the education policy. We need you to speak to our judges and to talk about these minimum mandatory sentences. And we need to talk about the fact that here we are 28% of 29% of the population, but we are 78% of the jail population. Something is absolutely wrong with that. Would you agree with me? But these things start on that level. And so I want to say, I want you to keep up the good work. I know that you're doing this because you care. I know that you're here and you're serving because you care. And I'm asking you, let's send people. I look at you. You care. I watch you on the floor today. I watch you as you stood up yesterday. And when everybody else said, I can't take this vote, they might redistrict me. We got to do something about that too. They might redistrict me. They might pit me against somebody else. These are things that legislators ought not be concerned about and would not have to be concerned about if we had those who make us of our own community to come around us and surround us and say, we won't let people attack you like that. We won't let them put two of your female senators and pit them against each other because they've decided that that may be the best way to go. If you're raising hell, if you're standing there saying, no, this is not what we're going to do, this is not acceptable, this is not going to happen, it's not about the personality, it's about the position of power that can deliver to our people what we need, because without an educated generation and a jobless generation, the only ones that will benefit are those who walk into my office every day and say, Senator, we need you to implement this law so that we can raise the money, we can raise the level of money that we spend on inmates, because we're privatizing our jails. And in privatizing our jails, somebody's got to make money. And what the state is paying is not enough for us to make a profit. So we want you to now raise the rate per person. And you know what? To do that, we're now raising it $20,000 more than the normal rate. So for every one of us who enters into the system, who will go to jail, somebody's making money. I don't know about you, but that sounds like slavery all over again. It sounds like a new slavery. Just make the money, but to just